And I think I got connected to the information from community work that you do, whether it's on social media, local areas where you have festivals in the park. I think I follow those as well. And so when I heard you were coming to Poly, I think it was exciting. We know that kids at all of our schools are interested in music. We have a very strong music curriculum starting very early in Long Beach that we've been able to maintain. And so for students, especially at the high school level, at that part of their career in school, to see working musicians, professional musicians, come and talk about what they do, why they love what they do, how they got into what they were doing, is a really critical piece of putting together why music education matters. That it isn't just about playing an instrument or enjoying it, that there are real careers and passions that people pursue. And so this brings that real world part of a future career to those kids who are deeply interested in it. You know, Poly's auditorium had just been finished when you did that. And so to see kids engaged in a way, in a beautiful space around music and performance was important. And that's what I saw, were kids that were engaged, kids that were listening. It's hard to get an auditorium full of 1,200 students to pay attention, and for the most part, they were listening and they were learning. They were watching their peers perform with professionals. So overall, it put those pieces together, again, of the value of music in their life, the value of music in their friend's life. If they don't quite understand it, they realize why it's important to somebody else, and that it matters, and that the arts matter, and that there are real careers connected to the work. During COVID, I think we all thought COVID would be a lot shorter than it is. And so here we are 6 months later trying to engage students online in ways that we haven't had to do in the past. And so we know that it's hard to be on screen for a lot of hours a day to stay engaged with learning. And I think there's an opportunity here for a real partnership around not just looking at their teacher and their peers, but interacting with musicians, hearing different things during a school day than they would normally hear. We know that the important part for kids learning really is about community and gathering and being together and talking and having common experiences, and we don't have that happening right now. So to have a partnership with the Blues Society is one of those things that they can talk about after class. They can say, which one did you like best? Did you see this musician? Who was in your classroom today? That it gives them an opportunity to talk about things that aren't academic, but that brought some life into their day and something really different into their day. And again, for our kids who play music and for our kids who want to be together to perform, it's particularly hard, I think, for them. They may be finding ways to do that in a very safe, socially distanced way in a small group. But certainly when we have 100 kids who would rather be playing the blues together, and they can't, having an outlet to talk to people about what's happening in the industry, how is COVID affecting their art and how they're doing their work, again, just helps us get a bigger sense of what's happening in kids' lives and really connecting the heart about music to their school day. And so I think we're gonna have the opportunity to be really innovative in this time in ways that we're forced to, number one, but also a real opportunity as we move forward to continue engaging kids in an industry that many are attracted to. I would imagine musicians can zoom in from wherever they are. So they may meet people that they wouldn't have had the opportunity to meet because they couldn't get to Long Beach because they lived at a distance because they're working or doing something. So I think there's opportunities in the hard part of COVID, and I look forward to groups like the Blues Society really working with our students to help them continue to love and play music. So I know you've put on several events for students across the district. And that's really important because not every kid is a neighborhood kid at that school. They may come from other places. So the more schools that that you work with, the greater chance that you're affecting kids from all over the city instead of just one particular neighborhood. I think that's really important that we make sure kids from every corner of the city have the same opportunities to engage, especially with professional musicians, because we have musicians all over the district, way up in the north at Jordan High School, all the way down to Wilson and Poly and across town at Cabrillo. So making sure that we are attentive to the musical passions of all of our students is really critical. So I'm glad you're at more than one school. I think one of the really important things is getting kids to understand that there are careers connected with music, that it isn't something that has to end when they graduate, that they have an opportunity to pursue their passion, whether it's on a full-time basis or a part-time basis, but having the opportunity to interact with professional musicians, ask them how did they get there, how did they continue to perform, what was their vehicle, did they perform in college, did they meet friends, that matters. We know that a lot of the times the connections that you have with people are what help you get to where you are in your career. It could be a random chance meeting with one of your musicians who says, hey, come out to a show, and then somebody else meets somebody else. We know a lot of industries work that way. So this gives kids the opportunity to meet folks doing the work who can help them see a path forward in doing music professionally, because I think a lot of parents probably see that as a non-academic career, and say you should do something that's academic and go to college. And we know for kids, music really is their passion. So the more opportunity they have to meet people who are making that happen in their own lives, the better chance they see themselves doing that as well. You know, I think we've all learned how to interact in different ways. I've been on 3 Zoom calls since this morning before I got here that were business calls that are hard. And I think finding opportunities to connect with music. I noticed Musical Theater West is doing an event tonight that's a live event, that those things really matter. And I think that's kind of the beauty that's missing in a lot of the hard things that are happening right now. So that musicians and that the Blues Society is working to connect with people and remind us that we deserve some beauty, we deserve music, we deserve live music, is important, because I know I miss it personally. I'm a big live music person. And there's something about the camaraderie of being together and listening to people play passionately that is a common experience, and we're missing out on a lot of those. So any reaching out to the community to bring people together, even virtually, to have a shared musical experience, I think is important. I'm just grateful that you are wanting to engage with kids, especially high school kids. We know lots of folks have ideas about what middle school and high school kids can be like, and they are a delight unto themselves, and that you're willing to engage with them and to bring out their passion and to watch them play with you on stage, which hopefully we will get to do again soon, matters, because I think it helps kids feel seen and valued by folks other than their family and other than the people at their school who live out in the real world. So I'm very grateful for that.